TJ the Siberian Tiger Cub by Ann Whitehead, Nagda, and Cindy Bickel, illustrated by Heather Gatley. Bukra, the Siberian tiger, was going to have a baby. The keepers at the Denver Zoo had already placed a video camera in her den so they could check on the mother tiger without disturbing her. When the cub was born, they watched Bukra and her baby on a TV screen. Bukra was a good mother. She licked, nuzzled, and nursed her new baby. The cub, named TJ, weighed only 3 pounds and looked tiny next to his mother, who weighed 250 pounds. TJ's father, Matthew, was even bigger than Bukra. He weighed 350 pounds. TJ would have to gain a lot of weight to be as big as his father. When TJ was 6 weeks old, the zoo veterinarian gave him shots and weighed him. The cub weighed 10 pounds. When TJ's father was 6 weeks old, he weighed 14 pounds, 4 pounds more than TJ. Even so, the little tiger was healthy and strong. Sheila, the tiger keeper, had trouble holding him still while the vet examined him. The feisty little cub never stopped wriggling until Sheila brought him back to his mother. Every day when Sheila came to the zoo, the first thing she did was check on the tigers. Bukra, protecting her cub, always snarled, spit, and bared her teeth at Sheila. TJ snarled just like his mother. One morning, Bukra didn't snarl at Sheila. The mother tiger lay on her side, completely still. TJ was mewing and pushing his mother and trying to nurse, but Bukra didn't move. Without any warning, she had died. The zoo veterinarian examined Bukra and discovered she died from cancer. Now, who would raise this special baby? Most of the time, mother tigers take care of their cubs alone. Matthew couldn't take care of his son. He didn't know how. Sheila took TJ to be raised by the staff at the animal hospital. The vet was worried when he examined the cub. TJ was not as big as he should have been. The cub was 10 weeks old and he weighed only 13 pounds. Cindy, a veterinary assistant at the hospital, put TJ in a cage. She gave him a bowl of ground meat mixed with milk. Ignoring the food, TJ walked to a corner of the cage, curled into a ball, and didn't move for hours. The next day, he was still curled up in the same spot. He hadn't touched his food. The hospital staff was worried. The 10-week-old cub hadn't gained much weight since his 6-week checkup. The vet checked to see how much TJ's father had weighed as a cub. He compared TJ's weight with Matthew's weight at the same ages. At 6 weeks, Matthew weighed 4 pounds more than TJ. At 10 weeks, Matthew weighed 6 pounds more than TJ. It was TJ's 3rd day at the hospital, and he still hadn't eaten. When Cindy entered his cage, he snarled and showed his teeth. He threatened her because he was scared. She put some meat on a wooden stick and placed the meat in his mouth. TJ spat it out. The next day, Cindy tried giving him strained meat from a jar. She thought TJ might like human baby food. He spat that out too. Cindy made a bar graph like this one to compare the tigers' weights. The red bars show TJ's weight. The black bars show Matthew's weight. TJ was losing weight. The tiger cub had lost 1 pound during his first few days in the hospital. Cindy and the staff began to fear for TJ's life. 5 days had passed and the tiny cub had not eaten anything. Everyone agreed that they had no choice but to force TJ to eat. Dr. Kenny and Dr. Cambray, wearing jackets and heavy gloves, held TJ still while Cindy used a stick to place meat at the back of his tongue. It was quite a struggle at first. The small tiger was all teeth and claws. Finally, TJ swallowed 7 meatballs coated with dried milk. Cindy hoped that TJ would eat on his own after he got a taste of food, but the cub still refused to touch the meat in his bowl. To help TJ survive, Cindy and the veterinarians continued to force TJ to eat. Here is a line graph of both TJ and Matthew's weight from birth to 12 weeks. The red line is TJ's weight, the black line is Matthew's weight. At 12 weeks, TJ weighed a lot less than his father did at the same age. On the 11th day, TJ ate 2 meatballs on his own. When Cindy gave the cub a rubber toy, he batted it around. Then she set a meaty bone next to the toy. TJ immediately started chewing on the bone. Everyone started to feel hopeful. All the care and hard work paid off. TJ gained weight at last. TJ was weighed frequently. By 13 weeks of age, the frisky cub was not cooperative about getting on a scale by himself. Cindy had to hold the tiger and step onto the scale. Together, Cindy and TJ weighed 126 pounds. Cindy put the tiger down and stepped back onto the scale alone. It read 110 pounds. By subtracting her weight from their combined weight, Cindy was able to figure out that the tiger cub now weighed 16 pounds. Cindy was relieved when the tiger cub let her hand feed him on a regular basis. Now he would gain weight more quickly. TJ's favorite food was beef heart rolled in dried milk. By the time he was 14 weeks old, he weighed 19 pounds. The cub was gaining weight at a steady rate, and the vet was pleased with his progress. As TJ grew more comfortable with the nursery staff, he became more playful. He played hide and seek with Cindy and Denny, another veterinary assistant, on the zoo grounds at night. The cub would hide in the bushes and wait patiently until Denny got close to him. Then he would leap out, grabbing Denny's leg with his paws. Sometimes he would sneak up behind Cindy and pounce on her. Tiger mothers teach their babies how to hunt by playing games like this. The tiger quickly learned to open the nursery room door so he could join his human friends in the kitchen. He also learned to open the refrigerator door by pulling on the towel hanging there. One time, TJ even helped himself to a bag of meat. By the end of TJ's stay in the zoo hospital, he wanted company all the time. He cried when he was by himself. After learning to live with humans, TJ had a new challenge. He had to leave the hospital, return to the tiger exhibit in the zoo, and live by himself. Cindy visited him often. Sheila, the tiger keeper, hand-fed him so that he would get to know her. TJ played games with Sheila. Sometimes he climbed on a rock and then pounced on her when she entered the exhibit. TJ was afraid to go outside in the tiger yard at first, so Sheila and Cindy went with him. Soon, he was having a wonderful time. He shredded bark from trees and watched birds and zoo visitors. During the next few years, TJ grew a lot. When TJ was 2 years old, he was moved to a zoo in Billings, Montana. The zoo had a brand new tiger exhibit, but no tigers. TJ was just what they needed. He continued to thrive in his new home. TJ's big move from Denver to Billings. Several years later, when TJ was 4 years old, Cindy went to visit him at Zoo Montana. She watched the tiger splash around in his pool. After she called to him, TJ came over to the fence and chuffled, which is a sound that tigers use as a greeting. Cindy knew that TJ still remembered her. Cindy was amazed to see how big TJ was. The tiger keeper at Zoo Montana estimated that TJ weighed 500 pounds. TJ had finally grown bigger than his father.